They said I married him for money, that I was just another gold digger who trapped a billionaire. But when my 7-year-old daughter pressed play on that video in front of the judge, my ex-husband's face went white. What they saw next, it destroyed everything he'd built on lies. But before I tell you how it all came crashing down, if you love stories about karma and justice, hit that like button and subscribe right now, because what's about to unfold will leave you absolutely speechless. My name is Diana, and I need you to understand something before we go any further. I wasn't some starry-eyed girl who fell for a rich man's charm. I was a pharmaceutical research scientist with 3 patents to my name and a career that was going places. When I met Christopher Valentine at a medical conference in Boston, I was the one presenting groundbreaking research. He was there networking, trying to expand his luxury hotel empire into international markets. He pursued me relentlessly, flowers every day, handwritten notes about how brilliant I was. He didn't just want to date me, he wanted to know everything about my work, my research, my language skills. I spoke 4 languages fluently, something I'd learned growing up in a multicultural neighborhood and studying abroad. Christopher said he admired my mind. He said I was different from anyone he'd ever met. I was so stupid. I actually believed him. We got married 8 months later. His mother, Patricia, wore black to the wedding. Not navy, not dark gray, black, like she was attending a funeral. I should have known then. But Christopher held my hand and whispered that we'd prove them all wrong, that our love was stronger than their prejudice. I believed that too. For the first few years, I thought we were building something real. I gave up my lab position to help Christopher expand internationally. He needed someone who could navigate different cultures, who could read contracts in multiple languages, who could use scientific precision to review complex agreements. That was me. I spent 3 years traveling the world with him, helping him secure properties in Tokyo, Cape Town, Paris, Dubai. His empire grew, and I told myself I was part of something bigger than just my own career. But somewhere along the way, I stopped being his partner and became his assistant. Then his prop, then his problem. The microaggressions started small. Patricia asking if I was sure. I understood the wine selection at family dinners. Christopher's business partners talking over me in meetings, then apologizing with that condescending smile. We didn't see you there. How do you not see someone sitting right in front of you? But I swallowed it. I smiled. I played the role of the gracious wife who didn't make waves. Our daughter Lily was born 6 years into our marriage, and for a while I thought maybe that would change things. Christopher seemed softer with her, gentler. But I noticed he only showed affection to her when other people were watching. When it was just us, just our little family, he was distant, always on his phone, always working late. I'm not naive. I knew what working late usually meant. But when I finally found the evidence, the lipstick on his collar, the hotel receipts from cities he'd never mentioned visiting, the text messages he forgot to delete, I still wasn't prepared for what happened next. I confronted him on a Tuesday night. I remember because Lily had ballet class, and I'd dropped her at my friend's house so we could talk privately. I laid out everything I'd found on the kitchen counter of our mansion, this beautiful, cold house that never felt like home. Christopher looked at the evidence, looked at me, and smiled. Actually smiled. "What did you expect, Diana?" he said, pouring himself a scotch. "This marriage was always temporary." I felt like someone had reached into my chest and squeezed my heart until it stopped beating. "What are you talking about?" "I needed you," he said simply, like he was explaining a business transaction. "The international expansion. I couldn't have done it without your skills. Your research background gave me credibility. Your language abilities opened doors. Your face," he paused, swirling his drink, "made me look progressive and open-minded. But now I need a wife who actually fits into my world." He told me about Caroline then, his college sweetheart, the daughter of a senator, white, connected. Appropriate, as Patricia had apparently been telling him for years. They'd been together the entire time, the entire 8 years of our marriage. Every kiss, every I love you, every moment I thought was real. It was all a performance. "I'm filing for divorce," he said, "and I'm getting full custody of Lily. You're going to take what I offer you and disappear quietly. If you don't, my lawyers will destroy you. They'll paint you as an angry, unstable woman who trapped me with a baby. And who do you think people will believe, a respected billionaire or his bitter ex-wife?" I lost it. I screamed at him. I threw his scotch glass against the wall, and the whole time his security camera was recording everything. Later, his lawyers would use that footage to prove I was violent and unstable. The divorce announcement hit the society pages within 24 hours. Christopher made sure of that. He wanted to control the narrative, and he did it perfectly. I was the gold digger who'd finally been exposed, the opportunist who'd used him for his money and status. His mother, Patricia, went on her charity circuit telling anyone who'd listen that I'd trapped her poor son with a pregnancy, that I'd always been difficult and played the victim. My friends, or the people I thought were my friends, vanished overnight. In their world, you choose sides, and nobody was choosing mine. The joint bank accounts were frozen. I was living in a 2-bedroom apartment with Lily while Christopher stayed in our mansion with Caroline, who was already pregnant with his child. The timeline made it clear they'd been planning this for years. I scraped together enough money for a lawyer, but he was drowning against Christopher's legal team. They had folders of evidence against me. Every time I'd ever raised my voice, every moment of frustration they'd secretly recorded, every cultural difference they could twist into something sinister. They made me sound like a monster, and Lily, my sweet, brilliant 7-year-old, was caught in the middle. Christopher had started his poison campaign with her too, subtly turning her against me. "Mommy's just angry, sweetheart. Mommy's making this difficult for everyone." But I could see my baby girl suffering. She started having nightmares, wetting the bed again. She'd gotten so quiet, so withdrawn. The night before the custody hearing, I sat in our tiny apartment looking at wedding photos and seriously contemplated giving up. Maybe I should just take whatever Christopher offered and try to rebuild somewhere far away. Maybe fighting would only hurt Lily more. Maybe I was being selfish trying to hold on to her when Christopher could give her everything. The best schools, the best life, the best future. I was crying over an old photo album when Lily crawled into my lap. She was supposed to be asleep, but she wrapped her small arms around my neck and whispered, "Mommy, don't cry. I know a secret about Daddy." I wiped my eyes. "What kind of secret, baby?" She climbed down and retrieved my old tablet from her backpack. I'd given it to her months ago to play educational games. She held it out to me with both hands, her little face so serious. "I recorded things," she said quietly. "Daddy didn't know the tablet could record. I saved them for you, for the judge." My hands shook as I took the tablet. "Lily, what did you record?" "Things Daddy said, when he thought nobody was listening. But I was listening, Mommy. I'm always listening." I pressed play on the first video, and my entire world shifted. This wasn't just evidence of an affair. This was something so much bigger, so much darker than I could have imagined. I watched 3 videos that night, and by the end, I understood exactly what Christopher had done to me, what he was still planning to do. I barely slept. The courtroom was packed the next morning. Christopher had made sure there would be media nearby. He wanted my humiliation to be public and complete. Judge Helen Rodriguez presided, a stern woman with sharp eyes and a reputation for taking no nonsense from anyone. Christopher's lawyers came out swinging. They painted me as vindictive, jealous, unstable. They paraded character witnesses through that courtroom like a pageant. Patricia dabbed her eyes with a handkerchief, testifying about how aggressive and paranoid I'd become. Christopher's business partners all agreed I'd changed, become difficult, impossible to reason with. They made me sound like a crazy woman who'd finally snapped. Then Christopher took the stand, and I watched him give the performance of his life. Tears in his eyes, voice breaking at all the right moments. I loved her, Your Honor. I truly did. But she changed. She became suspicious of everything, jealous, accusatory. I fear for my daughter's emotional well-being if she stays in that environment. Caroline sat behind him in the gallery, her hand resting on her pregnant belly, looking sympathetic and sad. When people noticed, the gasps rippled through the courtroom. Christopher's lawyer used it masterfully. My client has moved on, Your Honor. He's building a stable, loving home for his daughter. A home free of conflict and hostility. My lawyer tried. God, he tried. But we were outmatched and we both knew it. The custody evaluator's report was damning. I suspected Christopher had paid her off, but I couldn't prove it. Every piece of evidence seemed to support his narrative. I was the angry black woman, the gold digger who was now showing her true colors, the unstable mother who couldn't be trusted. When my lawyer rested his case, I could see the resignation in his eyes. We'd lost. That's when I stood up. Your Honor, I have one final piece of evidence I'd like to present. Christopher's lead attorney jumped up immediately. Objection! This wasn't disclosed in discovery. The defense can't just— Your Honor, I said, my voice steady despite my racing heart. This evidence only came to my attention last night. I believe it's crucial to this case. Judge Rodriguez studied me for a long moment. Whatever she saw in my face made her nod. I'll allow it. But this is highly irregular, Mrs. Valentine. It won't take long, I promised. Lily had been sitting with the bailiff, quiet as a mouse. Now she stood up, walked to me with the tablet held carefully in both hands. Every eye in that courtroom was on my little girl as she approached the judge's bench. I want to show this to everyone, Judge, Lily said in her clear, brave voice, so they know the truth about Daddy. Judge Rodriguez looked surprised but nodded. All right, sweetheart, let's see what you have. The bailiff set up the tablet to project on the courtroom screen. I watched Christopher's face as Lily pressed play. He looked confused at first, then concerned, then absolutely terrified as he recognized his own study, his own voice. The first video showed Christopher with his lawyers 6 months earlier. His lead attorney was speaking. We need to make her look unstable. The aggressive black woman stereotype, judges eat that up, unfortunately, plays right into unconscious bias. Christopher on screen nodded. Already working on it. I've been provoking her deliberately, recording her reactions. Got some good footage of her losing her temper. They laughed. Actually laughed about it. The lawyer continued. And you're sure about the custody evaluator? Paid her $50,000. She'll write whatever we need. The courtroom erupted. Judge Rodriguez banged her gavel, calling for order, but people were shouting. Christopher tried to stand, tried to say something, but his lawyer pulled him back down. And the video kept playing. The second video was older, 3 years ago, based on the date stamp. Christopher and Caroline in what looked like a hotel room. Caroline was sitting on the bed, Christopher standing by the window. How much longer do you need her for? Caroline asked, filing her nails. Just until the Asian and African properties are secured, Christopher answered. Her research credentials, her language skills, she's useful. Once those deals close, we can move forward with our original plan. And the kid? Caroline asked. Christopher shrugged. Leverage. Diana will be so desperate to see Lily, she'll take whatever scraps I throw at her. She'll disappear quietly. I heard someone behind me crying. The courtroom had gone absolutely silent now, everyone frozen, watching this man casually discuss using his own daughter as a weapon. But it was the third video that destroyed everything. Christopher with 3 of his business partners, including one who'd testified earlier about my instability. They were in Christopher's office, drinks in hand, celebrating something. The beauty of using Diana's research credentials, Christopher was saying, is that everything looks legitimate. These pharmaceutical contracts she's been reviewing, half of them are fake. We're moving money through them, cleaning it through the hotel acquisitions, and she's signing off on all of it. One partner laughed. And if it goes south? We pin it all on her, Christopher said simply. She signed half these documents. Her name is all over the international deals. Who's going to believe her over me? A bitter ex-wife with an axe to grind? She's the perfect scapegoat, particularly given, well, you know, the optics work in our favor. The man actually winked. The angry black woman defense, classic. They all laughed, clinked their glasses together, celebrated using me as their patsy while planning to take away everything I loved. The video ended. The silence in that courtroom was deafening. Christopher stood up suddenly, and I think he meant to run, but two bailiffs were already moving toward him. His face had gone from red to white to gray. He looked like a ghost. "Your Honor," he stammered, "that video, it's fabricated. It has to be. It's real," Lily said loudly. "My brave, brilliant daughter. I recorded it with Mommy's tablet. You never saw me, Daddy. You never looked. I was always there, always listening. And I saved it all." Christopher's legs seemed to give out. He sat down hard. Patricia had fainted in the gallery. Someone was fanning her with a program. Caroline was trying to slip toward the exit, but someone had blocked the door. Judge Rodriguez's face was stone. "Mr. Valentine, I am ordering your immediate arrest. Bailiff, take him into custody. I'm also calling the federal prosecutor's office because what I just witnessed goes far beyond this courtroom's jurisdiction." "Your Honor, please," Christopher said, and his voice broke. But this time it wasn't a performance. This was real terror. "Please, I can explain. Diana—" He turned to me, actually got on his knees right there in court. "Diana, please, we can work this out. I'll give you everything. The house, the money, all of it. Full custody. Whatever you want. Just please, don't let them—" "Don't let them what, Christopher?" I asked quietly. "Tell the truth? Use your own words against you? Isn't that what you did to me?" He opened his mouth, closed it. He had nothing to say. No more lies left. Judge Rodriguez made her ruling swiftly. Full custody to me, effective immediately, restraining order against Christopher and his entire family. The mansion, majority of the assets, all of it transferred to my name pending the criminal investigation. Christopher's accounts were frozen. His passport was seized. The FBI raided his offices within 3 hours. Caroline was arrested as an accomplice the next day. Patricia's charity foundation, the one I'd actually helped her build, spending countless hours on grant applications, was seized as part of the money laundering investigation. Christopher's empire collapsed in 72 hours. Every news outlet ran the story, but this time they had the real version. The recordings went viral. People were finally listening. The trial took months, but I testified for the prosecution. Because I'd been an unwitting participant, they granted me full immunity in exchange for my cooperation. I helped investigators unravel every piece of Christopher's scheme, every fake contract, every laundered dollar, every lie. Christopher got 15 years in federal prison. Caroline got 7. Patricia wasn't charged criminally, but her reputation was destroyed. Her charity board asked for her resignation. Her society friends stopped returning her calls. That was 6 months ago. Today, I'm standing in my new research lab. I used part of the settlement to start a foundation that helps women of color in STEM fields who've been exploited or sidelined. The rest, I invested in my own pharmaceutical research company. Last month, we had a breakthrough in diabetes treatment that could help millions of people. The work I was always meant to do. Lily is thriving. We did therapy together. Both of us needed it. She's back to being the bright, joyful child she was before everything fell apart. She still asks questions sometimes about what happened, about why her father did those things. I tell her the truth, age-appropriately. I never want her to think that what he did was normal or acceptable. This afternoon, we're at the park near our new house. Not a mansion, just a comfortable home in a neighborhood with good schools and friendly neighbors who wave when they see us. Lily is on the swings, her laughter carrying across the playground. "Mommy," she calls out, "are you happy now?" I walk over to her, push her swing a little higher. "You know what, sweetheart? I really am. We're free. And sometimes the truth is the best revenge." She grins at me, that beautiful gap-toothed smile. "I'm glad I recorded those videos." "Me too, baby," I say, and I mean it with every fiber of my being. Me too. Because here's what I learned through all of this. You can steal someone's time. You can use them, manipulate them, try to destroy them. But the truth is patient. It waits in the shadows, on a child's forgotten tablet, in the careless words of people who think they're untouchable. And when it finally comes to light, it's more powerful than any lie, any scheme, any carefully constructed facade. Christopher thought he could use me and throw me away. He thought my voice didn't matter, that nobody would believe me, that he could disappear me without consequences. He was wrong. If this story proved to you that karma is real and truth always wins, please hit that like button, share this with someone who needs to hear it, and subscribe for more incredible stories about justice and redemption. Because the world needs to know that justice might be slow, but it's always worth the wait. Thanks for watching, and remember, never underestimate the power of the truth, and never underestimate a mother protecting her child.